Hello, this is my dance analysis for baggy trousers. Okay, right, the mood we are trying to create is, I think, it's more of a rebellious teenager kind of mood, like a getting back at teachers and not being a goody two shoes, and being the opposite of good and morally right or something like that. And that is the we use a lot of like rebellious sort of things during it. For example, like we drag a teacher around. Drag a teacher around like up and down the stage. We have like there's a bit where we're all like, oh, what's on the earth? But then we just bust out a bit, just showing that what, we don't care, we don't have to listen to what you're doing and all that lot. And it's just showing basically just how rebellious the school kids are, on the bad side of Joe's story. We're successful in creating the atmosphere. I believe so, yeah. I think it worked really well actually. Everyone got the feel. The feel for baggy trousers is basically about that, like the song itself. So the dance sort of had to encapsulate the song, as well as like stick to the lyrics and all that lot, which it did. It was very cleverly put together. Just using, rather than using like really flowing, graceful movements and stuff, it was really sharp. It was straight in there. It was just very ooh pow, which is like what rebellious teenagers are, in school. What do you need to improve your contribution? I suppose in the bits where I'm with Mark, I could be a bit more involved, because it is Bad Joe doing baggy trousers. I think it could be a bit more involved in the first part of the song. But that's, for the rest of it, I am quite heavily involved, personally, and that is the mood that we're trying to create. What message does the song send to the the message that the song sends to the audience is basically, we're not goody two shoes. We're rebellious. We do what we want. We do this. We do that. And even though you're older and you're qualified and all that stuff, your word does not mean anything to us lot, which is kind of morally bad. Which is why it's on the bad side of Joe's story, rather than the good side. How do you? Oh God, how do you enhance the message within the dance? Well, I would say we use sharp movements. We use a lot of street rather than like contemporary. We use just very powerful, strong movements. So it's sort of intimidating as well. Like I'm saying, like school kids are really, when they're being rebellious. Where does the dance take place? It takes place in school. Takes place in a classroom. In a classroom. It shows like you see this like at the start of the dance when where they're freezing each movement, and that's using desks. A few parts are with the desks of the song. It's like also there's a bit on which I believe is a playground, or a school ground, or whatever you want to call it, when they're having a bit of a dance off basically, and that's where I think that takes place. It affects the movement as like when we're in the classroom. Obviously you're restricted in a classroom, and I can only go around the tables. I can't walk in between the tables and all that lot because they're using that space. But when we're outside, it's not that really. It's not constricted. It's open. You can sort of walk around. You can move where you want to. You can flow it through and just go where it feels like. Rah. How does your favourite character feel within the scene? How do you choose your movement and facial expressions? Okay. My character has just been told to leave school early and start basically breaking in houses, scamming people, because, I mean, granted, it'll earn you really quick money. I mean, it's morally wrong. It's not a safe job, but, you can earn a quick bit of cash, and, you don't have to do it. You don't have to have anyone owning you and bossing you about and all that stuff, and that's basically the encapsulation of the song. It's showing that it sort of moves up. It's like if you stay in school and you do exams, and you do the morally right thing, you go up and you get a job and you get a boss who is basically someone that talks down to you and all that stuff, and you might not like them, but you still have to do everything they say. It's a bit like kids and teachers. Like you stick on the same sort of hierarchy, if you will, as you move on up through your life, obviously, unless you start moving up a company and moving up that way. But you'll still have a higher boss above you. Or as the bad side, it's like you don't listen to teachers, you don't listen to this and that, you do the bad thing, you don't listen in lesson, you just annoy people and basically wreck people's lives if you so do that way, if you start fights and all that stuff, which basically, again, is stronger in the outside world after school, which it moves on to hurting people and upsetting people by robbing them and scamming them, and you have no one talking down to you. And it's basically you make up your own rules and you still do what you want. And that's sort of the feel of the song. My personal opinion. Facial expressions, like I say, again, it's very intimidating. It's very sharp, and this is just to sort of set the mood with everyone in the dance. 3 points in your dance, which I'll go and explain why. Okay. I absolutely adore when me and Reese, Bad Joe and Reese, they're walking towards each other, like with their madness walk into each other, and then they turn and face that way. And I think it works really well because obviously you got all this music, you got the intimidating dance moves, you got the ferocious sort of attitude of all the teenagers, and then it just stops, and the music is very minimal as well, and it's just like all that's there is you just see this partnership of Joe and Reese like slowly coming together, and then they're together and they're walking towards the audience, so it's showing that them two have come together and they are going ahead with everything that they want to do, even though it's bad. I mean, this is made stronger by Welcome to the Lion's Den, temptation's on its way. So Joe's been tempted into doing something like that. Like he's been tempted out of being good and doing the morally right thing, and the temptation. This is the Lion's Den, basically, because even though you make a quick bit of money, there's still the lion that can just completely just ruin your life. The lion can eat you, to use the metaphor there. A lion can eat you, but it's a very dangerous path. It's a very dangerous one to take, but it will. It's exciting and it's fresh, and it makes you it's a bad path to go on, but it's still there. It's still tempted away because there is that much money in that, like scamming people and all that. Second point, when we first start dancing as a group, after the first, hold on, it's after, it's when Rob gets the headmaster, takes the headmaster's cane and wipes it on his bum, and then it's just after that when we're all in a group, because that's the first time properly where we have a group dance together, and I think it's quite powerful because the audience haven't seen that sort of thing just yet, and that's the first time they see it come together in Baggy Trousers, and Baggy Trousers is one of the most famous songs by Madness, so they'll already be like, oh, I love this song, this is cool, and then you just see bang, and then everyone's attention is just on the whole stage and just wowed by it all because of the amount of awesomeness in it. Okay. Oh, sorry, that was 2, wasn't it? Right? Yeah, it was. Okay, and third one, I really like the when the teacher is saying the last day of school is in so many ways the first days of the rest of your life, and we're all going like 10, 9, 8, 7, because it's showing that, like, even though obviously the teacher is qualified as an older person, he has more authority, that all the kids are carrying on about doing is just getting out that lesson, just getting out of school, just going off and doing whatever they want, and they don't really care about grades and all that stuff because they're just in such a rush to get out. Yeah, that's my 3 points. Okay, target 3 areas of dance needs improving. Okay. I think improve. Oh, I'm just double checking that this is recording. Just give me 2 seconds. Yes, it is. Okay. Right. So 3 areas of the dance which need improving. On the whole, facial expressions. I think facial expressions are obviously a main part of. Like, if someone's being intimidating, they can have all the body movements. So if you're trying to intimidate someone, you're there like smiling, it's not going to be intimidating at all. So facial expressions are a big part of being intimidating, and intimidation is quite a big part of the dance. It needs everyone to become intimidating and have their ferocious facial expressions and the powerful movements and all that lot, to show that, you know, they mean business. Another area of the dance, I'd say group choreography. When it's the whole group, I mean, I know it's quite difficult to get a bunch of people who aren't like. There's a lot of people on stage at one time, and obviously everyone's not like the most talented dancer in the world. That's just how it is. Me being one of them, I'm not that. I don't personally think I'm that great, and I find it quite hard sometimes to pick up things. So I think getting everyone perfectly timed, and getting everyone to do everything in sync is quite a difficult part to do. I mean, it's doable, but it'd take quite a bit of time, so that just needs a little bit of cleaning up. But other than that, I mean, it's great. Everyone knows their movements and stuff. It's just tightening it up and making it so it's like exactly at the right time. The last area of the dance. I would say keeping the energy up. Energy is key in this number because it is quite a very energetic number, and it's quite hard to keep character and all that all the way through. But I mean, when we have done it a few times when the energy has been full and everyone's feeling it, and you can definitely tell that there's been a load of power that's gone into it. But if there's like a little bit of like just floppiness like by the end of the dance, because it is quite intense, you sort of feel a little bit disheartened by the end, and you're not like, it's not like a big massive finish, it's more like a oh, that was good. So I think we need to work on that a tiny little bit, and that's my dance analysis.